What's up guys, it's Michael here. In this video, we're going to look at an update to want to make changes to the tax code for Form 1099-K. So during the presidential years, Biden for 2022, they actually want to enact a new change for the IRS for Form 1099-K. So Form 1099-K is based around anything that's online goods and services. So this is completely different from other different types of forms of 1099. For example, 1099 NEC and 1099 miscellaneous. This is different from 1099-K. So 1099 NEC, as I made a video in the previous before, is for self-employment and contract workers. And for 1099-K, this is specific targeting online sales. So for 1099 NEC, the minimum before you have to submit a 1099 NEC from the person you're getting a contract work from, they're supposed to submit one from you. So that's for $600 for 1099-K, which is online goods and services. And that's in general term, because it actually goes on way broader, which I'll explain. Which before I do, you guys should click the subscribe button down below and the like button. But what they want to do is take that threshold, which is actually $20,000, or a minimum anything exceeding 200 transactions, meaning either make $20,000 more, or if you make online transactions, for example, selling goods and services digitally, more than 200 transactions, then you receive a 1099-K. Now, they want to take that amount, which is a massive amount, $20,000, it's quite a lot, and move it all the way down to what 1099 NEC and 1099 miscellaneous are, $600. And the point is, the weirdest part is, what I don't get, it's going to be a massive headache and a challenge, and the IRS already knows that, because this actually bill or reform is supposed to happen the beginning of 2023 during January 1st. And they decided to hold it off and put it to the next fiscal year, into 2024. Because they realize when they interact that, you think about it, like over 10 million forms of IRS go into their system each year. And they're already understaffed, they're underfunded. And majority of people who call into IRS, they said, most of the time they can't find someone to support staff to help them, or when you call in no one answers. It's just a lot of headache and stuff. Even with the new infrastructure bill, which is supposed to pump like millions, maybe hundreds of millions of dollars, maybe billions into improving the IRS, I doubt that's even going to solve the problem. But having that, you just think about it. If it's an online transaction, for example, if you got to hire a person to, like, let's say like a nanny to hire her as a babysitter, and you found her online. So if it's more than $600 within a month, then you have to give her a 1099-K. So if they're going to follow the same format as 1099 NEC, think about it, the amount of people who do online transactions. And you think about it, when you do online transactions, it might not be a U.S. person. It could be, let's say, out of state or out of the country. What happens to say that country is from, let's say, China, let's say from a place in Europe, which they don't follow the same rules and regulations as the United States. And what happens if you ask them for a Form 1099-K and they won't give it to you? Because there'll be things that happen like that. And that's basically a whole nother type of headache. You think people from other businesses, locations would like to follow the laws and regulations and rules that the U.S. has set? Of course not. So when the IRS decide to make this type of bill, and I don't know what they were thinking, but because they have so much on their plate already, if you think about it, if you add even more to their plate, making the rules even more complicated, it just creates more headache and hassle. So the whole point of this is when they make the 1099-K and try to change that threshold from $20,000 or 200 transactions down to 600 type 1099 NEC, is they say, quote unquote, they want to target the wealthy people and avoid any tax loopholes. And if you think about it, wealthy people who, let's say, in the millions of dollars using that tax loophole, is if that's the case, why would they buy their goods and services, digital goods and services in the United States, when they can buy it out of the country? If they buy it out of the country, wouldn't that be another loophole? That doesn't really solve the problem. And the way I see it is, when they change the threshold for 1099-K, that actually affects the most average American. The most average American likes to buy goods and services online, for example, Amazon. That's what happens. Let's say you buy over $600 worth of Amazon goods and products within 1 year. If you pass that 1 year mark, then Amazon has to send you a 1099-K. And you think about Amazon has to go through that massive headache and logistics for every single person purchasing from their store. So if that's the case, that's even worse. And what makes it even more horrible is is that 1099K, when it's submitted to it, you have to submit the tax form. Now, if you use programs like TurboTax, or you use an accountant or some type of other software to submit your taxes or forms, that creates a more difficulty and more complexity. And TurboTax, in that case, which a lot of people use, they will charge even more for that service, because basic TurboTax is a free one, only give you the basic forms. Anything that's more complicated, they'll charge you even more money. So instead of helping the consumer and say try to target a wealthy, they're actually targeting us, the average person, which honestly at this case is the dumbest rule and regulation I've ever seen set in a long time. I mean, they make a bunch of dumb mistakes, but this one is basically a slap in the face for everyone, for this administration. And what I don't understand is, I really hope that they don't pass this. That's why they decided to not pass it, because they know this is going to be a massive hassle. And they try to change it to 2024. I really hope they change their mind, because whatever they had, that $20,000 threshold, they should keep it like that. And for the 1099 NEC, like the previous video I made, you guys should go and watch, and also click the subscribe button and the like button down below. They should change that $600 the same thing to 1099K, which I don't understand, because think about it, a lot of people don't make that much money doing goods and services and doing also contract work. If you want people to do more contract work, then you better have to give a better incentive. Like W-2. I made a video between W-2, 1099 NEC, and versus the 1040 income tax return form. What difference between them? The W-2 and 1099. 1099, you have a lot more flexibility compared to W-2. So what I don't get is the 1099K. Why does this form even exist? This form exists so they can make money off of us, but at the same time is, why change a threshold that everyone really liked, $20,000 or 200 transactions before you have to submit a form and pay tax on it, versus bring it down to $600 basically within a year. If you spend more than $600 on any platform, then you force any type of company, whether it's working in the United States or let's say like a company in China, which they don't care, and if they try to send you a tax return, ask them to send you a tax return, which they mostly will not do because they don't care. And it creates more headache for you and more headache for IRS. IRS, on the other hand, sadly, there's a couple of videos made by Clear Value Tax actually say, in IRS, different rule of law is you are guilty until proven innocent, which is completely true. If the IRS finds you guilty, you are always guilty and liable to pay the legal fees or the fines until you're proven innocent. Sadly, that is the case, and that's why I think that 1099K should not be changed to the $600 rule, because what they have now is actually works just fine. I don't understand why take something that's working just fine and just break it. That's it for this video. I hope you guys beg and pray that they don't change this rule by the end of 2024. And that's it. I'll see you guys next time. Peace.